Greg Tepper of Dave Campbell's Texas Football and TexasFootball.com here in San Antonio at the THSCA Coaching School and Convention with the head coach of the Rockwall-Heath Hawks, Coach Mike Spradlin. Coach, how are you?
I'm good, Greg. Can't forget that hyphen now.
Yeah, no, I've forgot. Carlos Lynn is chatting you up now.
I know.
Now
He owns me. He owns me.
Oh, I'm
0-2.
He owns you. I mean, didn't you guys play within 3 points in a playoff game or something
That's what I'm
like
saying.
that? Oh, okay.
That's what I'm saying.
All right. Speaking of which, I've got this copy of the 2021 summer edition of Dave Campbell's Texas Football. I'm just going to flip it open to a random page. Oh, look, it's the 6A rankings, Coach.
Yeah.
And there at number 11.
Yeah, thanks.
Those little old Heath Hawks. I guess. What do you think of that? Last year you guys were off of our radar. Now I think it's safe to say you guys are firmly on everybody's radar.
Well, I mean, it's always a good thing, right? I mean, you got to be careful. I mean, you'd love to maybe kind of sneak in and under the radar a little bit, but I think our guys are mature enough now to handle that. You know, we kind of halfway expected it. Got a lot of guys back. Mm-hmm. Expectations are high, not only – you know, maybe obviously from you guys, but from our own people, you know, our own kids. And so, you know, we had a season last year where we first 2 years, first year I was here, and then early into last year it was all about belief. And then all of a sudden when reality happens, then it really does turn into belief. It's not just hope. Yeah. You know, so anyway, we're pretty excited.
Well, and I guess has the conversation changed within the field house? I mean, I know that everyone in the community is really excited. You can feel it, that everybody in the community is excited. Yeah. Has the conversation changed in the field house, or is it, guys, it worked last year, we're just going to keep doing what we're doing?
Maybe a little of both.
Yeah.
You know, you're right. I mean, we had a year this year at Heath High School that's kind of what you see when you start looking at your South Lakes and your West Lakes and, people like that. We weren't just good in one sport. We were good in quite a few. And so state championship in baseball, state finals in soccer, 4 rounds deep in football. All of a sudden, that's a school thing. That's not just a football thing, And so, yeah, I mean, I think, in the process of transition, the first year we felt like we were about 5 points away from being a playoff, team. And we looked for those 5 points and found them. And then, got in the playoff run, and our kids started realizing this could happen, and so, we wound up in a great game with Cedar Hill in the 4th round and got into overtime with them and then watched them go on to state championship. So that reminds me a little bit of 13 and at Temple. We played Cedar Hill, interestingly, in the by-district game. Joey was there at the time, and they beat us late in the game 39-35, and so that was a season, even though it was in the by-district game, that showed our guys we belong because Cedar Hill went on and won it. Mm-hmm. So, I think that's where we're at right now. We have an expectation level that's high. It doesn't come without hard work and energy, but I think we're fired up about it.
Was there a moment last year that you felt that belief kick in for your kids? Was there one particular game or one particular time where it was like maybe the conversation or the attitude changed of like, we're not just a good team, we're a team that can go out here and really make some noise?
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt, and I hesitate to say it because I have a great admiration for it, but I think the Temple game was probably a huge factor in that belief. Temple was a very good football team, very well coached, obviously, and we had a big night that night. I mean, our guys really played well that night. It wasn't just – I don't know. We played that game 2 or 3 times. Who knows? But we were really good that night, and so I think at that point we knew. Okay, wait a minute. This is something that might. And then I would have to say, next week the Bridgeland game was probably the one where we actually thought, okay, wait a minute. We can do this. Yeah. We might do this. So I think that's probably the 2-week span there, both of them at Baylor Stadium, where we really. Kind of felt that.
Made a lot of people look silly. Some of them are sitting in this chair.
Well, that's okay. That's okay.
So I want to talk a little bit about your quarterback. Josh Hoover is a guy that I think I don't know how you can be a quarterback of a team that goes 4 rounds deep in the playoffs and still find a way to be underappreciated and underrated. But it seems like not enough people are talking about how good this kid is. I can watch the film. I can see he's a good football player. But you're the guy who sees him every day in practice. What is it about your QB1 that sets him apart?
Well, I mean, Greg, he really is phenomenal. Yeah. I mean, honestly, his ability to process, not only, and then, every now and then you get a guy with great talent, that's really good. Maybe doesn't process exactly, or you get a guy the opposite that can process really well. He's got both. I mean, he backs it up. He's phenomenal. I mean, he really is. He's not only is he a fantastic football player, fantastic kid. And, Josh is a little bit of a COVID victim. To me, the thing that probably has caused him to be a little bit off the radar is the fact that you're looking at particularly quarterbacks that are sophomores. When they were sophomores was the last time anyone saw them. And I'm talking about when they were sophomores, like in the summer before their sophomore year. So there's not been a college coach stand behind Josh, since he was a freshman in high school. So I think that probably they see what they see on film. These guys are so, college guys are so committed to wanting to see those guys and be around them. And so, some teams did that. They zoomed him really good. Indiana was one of them. Did a great job of recruiting him. He got real interested in him, and sure enough, that's where he's going to go. But he is a great processor of the game, Greg. That's what I think is talent. Obviously, he's got all the arm angles, can make all the throws. Not a throw on the field he can't make. But his ability to know where he's going with, throw guys open, those type of things, he's really, really good.
You are a team that, because you are returning so much, especially on that, what was just such a spectacular offense, that there are names that I think people know, but I'm going to put you on the spot and ask you, who's a guy that we don't know yet? Who's a guy that is not a name that we know that you think could be that breakout guy, could be the guy that we're talking about at the end of the season?
Well, I think the first thing I would say is there's 5 guys up front that people – I mean, seriously, Greg, this is probably the most collective 5 guys that I've had. I mean, that really is where it all starts. We do run the football quite well, and so those guys are really underappreciated, not by us, but somewhat, in the news world. But I think we've got a couple of young guys. I mean, one of the guys that I think really gets overlooked is our tight end, Lance Mason. I mean, Lance had nearly 500 yards last year receiving. He's a great blocker. He's, he's generating some interest collegiately. And I think everybody kind of knows him, but I don't think they know him well enough. Cash Cleveland, a young kid, is going to be a center for us, going to be a sophomore. Started the Temple game, interestingly.
As a freshman?
As a freshman.
Wow.
I've never had that. I mean, I've never had a 6A offensive lineman, much less play varsity, much less start in the second round of the playoffs. And Carson, he had to start for one of our junior guys who's really a stud. And Carson wound up getting a penalty in the game before that he had to sit out first half for. But long story short, I think Cash is on that list. Young kid, two young receivers, Drew Smith and Barnes Lewis, are going to be kids that I think. And then we've got a running back stable of kids that's maybe as good. I mean, we got 4 guys right now, and we're trying to figure out how it all works. That's football. A good problem to have. I mean, you can, we got to figure out how to keep them happy.
Yeah. Hey, listen, those are good problems.
That's a good problem.
Yeah. So finally, Coach, we mentioned that you guys are ranked number 11 in Dave Campbell's Texas football. Not far behind you is a team maybe you're familiar with in Rockwall High School. It strikes me that it's a pretty good time to be a football fan, to be a football coach, football player in the city of Rockwall. It seems like, I know that the DFW area is tough and you're going to have to get through a ton of good teams, but right now I can't see, and this isn't really a question, more of a statement, I can't remember a time where things were this, both those programs out there in Rockwall were this strong, and I imagine that's got to be fun to be a part of that community right now.
Well, Rockwall's number one. I mean, I've got to say this, and our administration in Rockwall ISD is unbelievable. I mean, Dr. V, who's our superintendent, is incredible. We've got great principals. So I would contend that last year we were just off the radar, right? But we were both pretty dead-gum good last year too. Well, they do a great job. Trey's really a tremendous football coach. He's great offensive mind, and so we have a ton of respect, right, for those guys. And so it is good. It's good for Rockwall. I've always been I was at Abilene Cooper. I was AD in Magnolia. I mean, up the 2 high school thing, I love it. I think rivalries are great. I think everybody gets to choose up sides. But yet there's a respect that goes on in Rockwall that's good. this whole idea that we're pulling for each other. I'm not sure we think that much about it,
yeah.
right? But what we do have is a mutual respect because we know they're good, and hopefully they think they're going to beat us, and we think we're going to beat them. And until we do it, they have every right to think that. So it is a very good, healthy place to live right now, and a great place to have a young man going to school and playing athletics in Rockwall ISD.
Well, it's been a lot of fun to watch your Heath Hawks last year, and we can't wait. I would appreciate it as somebody who ranked you 11th. I would appreciate it if you guys had a pretty good year. Like it would make me look like I know what I'm talking about.
We're going to try to comply. The DFW thing, as you well know. Yeah. It is a brand of football that's phenomenal, and so the road will never be easy, Greg, and I know you know that, but we're excited about playing, excited about getting the season started, getting going.
Coach, appreciate your time.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Hey, thanks for watching this clip here on YouTube. If you like this kind of stuff and you want more of it, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. And remember, you can watch us live every weekday at noon at TexasFootball.com, Facebook, Twitch, or here on YouTube. And if you want more of the best coverage of football in the state of Texas, check out TexasFootball.com and become a Dave Campbell's Texas Football Insider at TexasFootball.com/subscribe.